Guys, this was one of the most hectic podcasts I've ever done with Jance. And essentially, he's got two Instagram accounts, Plants with Attitude and Plant Strong Jance. And he is an Ironman, he's a vegan athlete, he competes regularly in triathletes, and he is a sponsored 2xU athlete. And he's also a private in-home chef with a really successful business. He has like some serious accolades. He's extremely fit, strong, capable, and his mindset is super strong as well. And in this podcast, we get into how to stop holding back, like holding yourself back and really overcome your self-limiting beliefs. Podcast was absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for you guys to listen. If you are tuning into this podcast, I do have some coaching spaces available. They're filling up really quick, but if you're interested in overcoming yourself, being the best version of yourself, send me a DM. And if you're interested in any of my discount links for bone broths, recipe ebooks, or Eternum Labs, you can just check some of the links down below. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast as much as I did. It seriously blew my brain. It was so awesome and so fun to sit with Jans in person and just discuss these awesome things. His story was so fantastic, and it was really deep, and it was really like we got like a little bit like into the emotional side of things as well, and then it was like real hype, and it was just fantastic. So if you guys do get any value from this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. That would mean the absolute world to me. Please like, share, and subscribe. That would mean the world. But without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast as much as I did, and I hope you're ready to get hyped up and ready to be the best version of yourself, because this is an extremely motivating podcast. See you on the inside, guys. Jans, man, thanks for coming on to the show.
Corey, thank you so much for having me on this wet Thursday. So stoked to be here.
Yeah, it's still warm though, which is like really good.
It is.
Adelaide's usually freezing.
Yeah, same as Melbourne. It's an adjustment. If like Melbourne's like this, because I moved up here from Melbourne, It's cold as well. This is tropics. It's tropical.
This is the deluxe stuff.
The deluxe.
Yeah. So man, what have you been focusing on at the moment? Where's your energy going?
Yeah, dude. So currently, I run my business, Plants with Attitude, which is like a meal prep catering sort of business. I've had that for 8 months now. Mm-hmm. Funnily enough, started off the back of a Facebook comment. Really? So yeah, dude, I moved here in December and closed my business down in Melbourne due to COVID. Lost everything. Moved up here. Just had landlord issues, with wanting us to pay the full rent, this and that, which was not possible because literally Melbourne was in lockdown, hard lockdown. Anyway, skipping on to the positive. Moved up here for a refresh start. Never lived by the beach before, so how sick. And decided not to open up another venue. The plan was to open up another venue, but decided against it with everything else going on, uncertainty of whether we were going to go into lockdown, this and that, paying rent, all this kind of stuff. That really broke me. So anyway, moved up here and didn't really know anyone. So I was a little bit lost. I was training like really hard for Cairns Ironman, which was in June this year. So I had something to keep me, active and something to do, but didn't have really many friends up here at all. So it's hard.
Come up by yourself?
It came up with my mum.
Oh, sweet.
So mum's up here as well. So we moved up together to get out of Melbourne. And to paradise. Still love Melbourne, but definitely wouldn't move back there. Anyway, came up here, so knew nobody. At least I had something to do in terms of training, which kept me busy. And then when we decided not to do the cafe up here, that kind of really broke me. Even though I'm 27 and have got a life ahead of me, that's all I'd known for the past years.
And what was the cafe? Was it a meal prep cafe?
No, so it was just not standard, but like high end. We would do breakfast, lunch.
It's like a primo cafe.
Hey,
primo cafe.
Pre-workout.
Primo cafe.
Primo.
Like really good.
Primo. Yeah, the primo. I thought it was a pre-workout cafe. Yeah, sure. People would come in like pre-workout. That's what we focused on. That was the welcome to the pre-workout cafe. Can you imagine? There's actually a place down here in Cooley called Protein Shake, and I'm like, they do good smoothies though.
Yeah, you'd want to hope so.
Yeah. Pre-workout. No, it was like my passion is and always will be in food. That's my like creative outlet. It's how I express myself, and I love making things look beautiful. And always from a young age, mum always had me in the kitchen chopping, doing certain things. So I've always cooked, and I've always loved, that aspect of getting in there. And
if anyone, just want to say real quickly, if anyone hasn't seen your Instagram, which one is the food one?
Food one is Plants with Attitude.
Oh my goodness. If you go on that one, because I remember having a good scroll and I went back and I was having a look at all the posts. I've never been so hungry, man. I was like, oh my God. I think I saved like 5 of the recipes. I was like, this is just ridiculous. Yeah.
So that's my passion. My passion is in food. That's my outlet. So if I'm like wanting to, forget about something or whatever, I'll go into the kitchen. Everyone has their sort of thing where it's also my form of meditation as well, where I feel totally I'm able to express myself and love putting things together. And I understand also the nutrition aspect and the science aspect of food, what needs to be included in something so that your body can actually absorb the nutrients that are bioavailable to you.
I'm excited to get into that in a bit.
So that's what I focus on in my business currently. But food for me, if you can get that right, like for anyone, I see it as a key pillar to succeeding in other aspects of your life. So I find it being one of the most important things to get right for the individual.
Yeah, which is sick. And then, so you were training for the Ironman.
Yeah.
And
so when I come up here, I was training for that. So in previous businesses, my mum, Deb, was my business partner as well. She was very successful, had businesses all her life, had a really successful one for 22 years. So I learned a lot of her growing up, being just mum and my sister, single parent. I always even still look up to her as an inspiration, being able to provide, for me and my sister, more than what some of my friends had as 2 parents. I guess if you want to like trace it back even further, go mum. Inspiration, holidays, private schools, this and that, like next level, would do anything for her kids. I always kind of though missed out. I felt like I missed out on having that father figure in my life. It's a bit of a touchy topic for me. I had a breakdown last night. I went to this mental health event that Benny from Home Gym Guys About Movember put on, and I was looking into someone's eyes. We did this exercise, and it was looking to the other man's eyes silently and gaze, full gazing. And I know his story, the other guy that I looked into, and I know that he's a loving father and all he wants is the best for his children and stuff. And just looking into his eyes made me trigger back to going, well, how come I never had that? How come my father never wanted me like that or loved me like that? And I just broke down. I'm a very sensitive human, growing up just around females as well. I'm very in touch with my emotions, and I'm totally, okay with that now. But back during school, like that was what I was picked on for. I was bullied, I was bashed, called names, had money extorted from me, this and that, just because of my feminine characteristics. And because I wanted acceptance from the boys, I would always be the one to get in trouble, always the one to do the thing, just so I could gain acceptance from the boys. And it got to a point where, sorry, we're going like sidetracked back. We're talking about food, but it got to the point where I was getting suspended literally all the time. And there was one last time in year 10 when I was 16, not funny, but one of my mates, I got blood wrap, so like cling wrap for everyone that you wrap your sandwiches with. And one of my other mates was like, oh, go and wrap his head. So in the middle of the quad, which is like the square where, you play down ball, this and that, I went behind him and like suffocated him. He didn't die, but with here I am, criminal, yo, no, I have a pass. Everybody has a pass. Just fresh it out. No, let's not joke about that. Let's not. And the vice principal come out in the quad and caught me, and said, "Don't you ever learn?" Anyway, I went into the principal's office, and the principal, like, for many, many years, had seen my potential, and that's why I never got kicked out. He could see, and all the teachers knew that I had the potential to be great. I just couldn't see it because I was always messing up. I was a smart kid, straight A student, this and that, but always just getting in trouble. Always the loudest one, always the one that wanted to be heard, and just because, you
want to fit in.
I wanted to fit in because everyone else had two parents. I was feminine. I was like, I want to be one of the boys. Anyway, it got to that last meeting and he was like, look, mate, and my mum was in the room as well. Next time there's not going to be a next time. You'll simply be expelled. You'll be kicked out. And I looked over to my mum and she had tears running down her face. And for me, that was the turning point. I just didn't want to keep disappointing my mum, my inspiration, the person who meant so much to me. And literally from that day on, I stopped caring. I stopped, allowed to swear on this.
You can swear as much as you like, man.
I stopped giving a fuck. Honestly, what anybody else, I'm not doing push-ups. That's not my challenge. I stopped caring what other people thought of me, and did like a full 180. So from then on, I, kept smashing out my grades. I became like, house leader, of the school and of my house, and got the top leadership award, in 2 years' time and everyone else was so surprised because I was the one that was always messing up, getting in trouble. Everyone thought that I didn't deserve it, but because I turned it around so much and really accessed my potential that was inside of me and stopped caring about all of that full 180, that transformation, I always had within me to be a leader. And I still do this day. Like, I'm not somebody that's going to sit back, and that's why I could never work for somebody, because I want to pave the way, set the standard, have an impact. So I've always had that. I just was pushing that aside so that I could feel accepted. But now, look back at all of those people that were, hanging shit on me or bashing me or whatever. They're still doing the same things that they were doing back then.
Yeah, and I think just like to touch on that as well, because I coach a lot of guys, is like masculine energy in general is like so powerful, and there's like so much energy. And when you can really focus it into one point and focus it into something, I believe that's like when things really start to manifest, and that's when you really start like your potential to go. But a lot of people, once they haven't had that like sort of moment that you've had, which I think is like awesome that you've gone through like some of this real dark stuff, because it's allowed you to be like, boom, let's focus this energy on something, and hence why like all of those awesome results are happening. So just anyone listening, if like, you sort of, your energy's like pissing into a bucket of water and it's all over the place, maybe they just haven't had that moment that's like, all right, cool, we need to focus this sort of like drive, which you've done, which I think is really impressive.
Yeah, and like just touching on that, just things that happen in life, I always say everything happens the way it's meant to happen, because that's the way it happens. Sometimes that's harsh reality, and you can never see it at that time because it's like a storm, right? But then the flowers, they bloom outside of that, but the storm is necessary. Sometimes you need to hit that bottom to realize and be like, whoa, what was I doing? Like, it's very important to have these, I wish I could say that you would go through life without adversities, but adversities builds character, makes you stronger. That's why we're here on this planet Earth, is to develop as humans. I'm not someone who wants to go in and out of like throughout life and just stay the same. Peaks and troughs. What makes us who we are.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. For anyone listening, don't be afraid to hit that.
For sure. And like now, what are you like currently doing that you're like really proud of, or that you're learning, or like opportunities that have like come for you that you've been like embracing, sort of, all of those things?
Yeah, totally. So honestly, I feel like it's a full pinch myself thing. Like living up here on the Gold Coast, I'm so much, not that I wasn't happy down there, but looking back at my life in Melbourne, I look back at some comments of what people used to say to me when I was down there, and I couldn't see it because I was clouded and I was in on it. And so like tunnel vision, that's what I was doing, and it was healthy and this and that, but like working, 18 hour I love the grind, don't get me wrong, but I was in a cycle that wasn't healthy, and I wasn't really happy, to be honest. I was making an impact, great, but yeah, I mean, I guess it also comes back to, you can't really see it until you step out of it. When you look back, and that comes back to like thinking a certain way, but when you grow from that, you're like, holy shit, like what was I doing? But you needed to have that so that you could look back at that, because if you didn't have that, then there's no way you would learn from that. Anyway, what I'm stoked about now is the business that I've been able to build off the back of a Facebook comment. Hilarious. Somebody put a post up and said, does anybody make vegan cakes here on the Gold Coast? And one of my friends, and right, this was the point where I was really lost, because we decided not to do another cafe, and I was like, oh my God, holy shit, what am I going to do? I really wanted a venue. Like, I loved having venues and having people come in, light people up, make people's day. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've got no idea. So I started working for someone, and once you work for yourself, man, working for someone, when someone tells you what to do, I fully respect, it's their business, but fuck that. Honestly, I could never work for anybody else in my life. So someone make vegan cakes on the Gold Coast. Friend said, hey, tagged me in it, and I was like, yeah, can do. Like, I can, like, because I started out making cakes.
Can make the fuck out of some vegan
I can make the
cakes.
fuck out of vegan cakes. No, legit. My client today just asked me if I can do cakes for Thanksgiving. I'm like, fuck yes, I can. I'll find the time. Don't worry, I don't have it, but I'll find it. Because that's what makes me happy. And somebody else hit me up in private messages saying, hey, just seen you reply, just saw you reply. Do you also do personal like meal plans and prep? Like, we just got rid of our personal chef. Is this something that you do as well? Didn't lie, because I never lie, and you never want to start a relationship with a lie. But it is something that I did 8 years ago, and I said, hey, it's not something that I currently do, but it is something that I have done in the past. I'd be happy to start up again and help you out. Anyway, off the back of that, started working for them. It was a family out in Tully Valley, so sick. And I was still unsure of whether that was the right thing, what I wanted to do. I continued to work that other job just for income purposes. And then I was still really lost. I was loving it. It was great. And then I did a card reading. So that same friend that tagged me, we did tarot cards, and basically, because I set my intention of like, okay, is this the right thing? And the cards were basically all said, yes, what you're doing, is
Lean in.
Yeah, it's lean in. Yeah. And I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to go all in on this. And I was like, I'm going to go door knocking, this and that, all up Hedges Avenue. And then all of a sudden, the client that I had started talking, word of mouth. And then literally it just blew up from there. I didn't have to go door knocking or anything like that. Now I've got a wait list of like 2 weeks. I've got 50 clients that I rotate. And I've grown so much on my own in terms of like the business aspect, perfecting the procedures, this and that. But that truly lights me up. Like, my core business is the meal prep, for individuals who are very busy, professionals, families, people that want to focus on their business. So I do the food for them, personalize, individualize it, do the macros, the micros, and explain the story of the nutrition side of it and the science of why I've included this inside the meal, because I believe mealtime isn't just about like eating. It's about understanding what you're eating and how the food is like digesting and going through your body. It's all about the mind-body connection as well. I try and teach to eat a little bit slower and with intention and purpose. I know it's hard to chew. Yeah, chew. Very important to chew. The saliva is a key factor to breaking down the food. And don't get me wrong, I'm human as well. Like, sometimes I smash food down, but your body doesn't recognize that it's eating it, and then you feel like you're still hungry. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, diet is a key pillar to being successful in other aspects of your life. So I focus on that so that my clients can focus on what they're good at, which is their business. And so I take all pain away for them, go into their homes. Basically, so it's a personal service where I go into their homes. I love it. Cook everything. All they have to do is pick up the fork, read the thing, and man, I've had some amazing transformations in terms of energy levels with clients. And every single day, I'm reaching less people than if I was to have like a cafe or a venue, but I'm having a higher impact. People are literally telling me that I'm changing their lives. I've lost this amount of weight, or I've got way more time to focus on this. I've just closed this deal because I didn't have to worry about cooking. I've got way more energy. And for me, like lighting people up from the inside out makes me so happy. I'm living out my purpose, which like is to help people be the best version of themselves possible. And my chosen thing is food, because I find that to be so important.
And you use that as a tool as well for like yourself. And I think what's really cool with you is you like embody all of those things and being the best version of yourself as well through all of like the training and stuff you do, which is like wild, man. Like so many triathlons, so much long distance running and all these crazy things that you're doing for like good causes. It's like really inspiring. So I'd love to dive into that.
Yeah, thanks. I'm also like, what I live by is one body, one life. Like, why not try everything? So I like to throw myself, like, I love pain so much. And I don't want that to have a negative like connotation or negative thought to it, but I love pushing myself to the absolute limit to see what I'm capable of, because I could be gone tomorrow. Yeah. Live it up. I had this quote from a friend and he was like, dude, we're literally one blade of grass over 50 football fields. Like, what the fuck even are we? What are we even doing here? Have no fear. Live it up.
So why is living like that important to you?
It's important to me, and it's important for people to kind of, I embody it because it makes me, like, the whole reason I believe why we are here is to grow and develop and learn, and things will keep continuing to show up in our life until we've learnt the lesson.
Oh yeah.
Certain situations, you'd be like, why is that happening again?
Synchronicity.
Yeah. We haven't learnt the lesson yet.
Yeah.
But like, dude, one body, one life. Like, I just believe we're all here for a good time, and here to progress and develop. And, I don't even really know how to answer that question. Why is it important to me? It's just, everybody wants to be happy. I feel like that is the end goal. I may be wrong, but I feel like everyone wants to be happy in life. And what makes me happy is making other people happy, but also trying all of these different things. I don't know, like, I'm just going to come back to that same thing again. One body, one life. Why not try it all? What is the human body capable of? And I like to prove to people that it is capable of more.
Which you do. You did that 100-mile
literally
run, which is 160 kilometers for anyone. Is that right? It's 160
yeah,
Ks.
160 K. So funny story about that. So I did that maybe 3 months ago, and only just released the video today.
And you're vegan, right?
Yesterday. I'm vegan. Yeah. So I've been plant-based for 8 years.
Yeah.
But with that, I hold space for literally everyone. Some of my really close friends aren't plant-based, aren't vegan. So I honestly, it comes back to the happiness thing. Yes, there is the cruelty to animals, but if you're happy doing what you're doing, mate, I'm stoked. Like, I'm not going to try and change you, because you know how hard it is to change yourself. Imagine trying to change somebody else. Fuck, you got no hope. Have a look at the gyms. January 1st, packed. Week later, empty. People lose motivation because they want instant gratification. They want instant results now. No one's willing to do the fucking work.
And 160 Ks is not instant gratification.
Not at all. So anyway, dude, funny story about that. So Jordan, I told Jordan about it. He's someone who does ultra running and loves all that shit as well. New friend up here on the Gold Coast again. Like, I feel like...
Found your fam.
Yeah. it's incredible. Everyone's so loving and supportive up here. Anyway, back to that. Get so sidetracked. It's gonna be a
right,
great
where are you, bro?
episode. Chip.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah, we're still on. Yo. I was like, hey, George, I'm going to run 100K. And he was like, well, why not do 100 miles? And I was like, okay, let's do 100 miles. Fuck it. I've already had a base, of doing endurance for 4 years. So I've got a good base. And then within the space of 6 weeks, I was throwing myself into doing 50, 60, 70, 80K.
Runs or weeks?
No. What runs?
Yeah.
Runs. So Jordan was like, okay, you need to go out for 7 hours consistently and see what you come across, because you don't want to get to doing it, it's all time on the legs. Anyway, so started doing that, filmed everything, and people were like, you're crazy. If people don't think you're crazy, then what you're doing is not, doing anything.
Yeah. Upgrade your standards.
Amen. And so I started going out at midnight, 10 p.m, 11 p.m, 1 a.m, running, because I knew that's what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And so we did 160K. The plan was to do 10K every hour. That plan slowly slipped out the window. I actually went into it with an injury up my tibialis. And so within the first 90 minutes, that started to refer to my left quad. And so I was only 90 minutes in, and little did I know the whole thing was 22 and a half hours. I had to deal with that pain literally the whole way through. But it just goes to show the power of the mind, of what you're literally capable of. If you switch off everything, I do a lot of meditation, breathing, self-love, self-work on myself. So I have that ability, and I feel like everybody does. As long as you access it and exercise, it's the mind is like a muscle. You've got to work at it to switch off. And my thoughts are always it's only, it's only one day, it's only whatever. Once this is over, then that's it. So just hone in on it and just focus. I just shut all of the pain out, and just went for it. It was hard. There was a lot of peaks and troughs. There was a lot of things that we come across that we didn't think we were going to come across. In the middle of Nerang State Forest, it was walking up trails that had advanced mountain bike trails that we didn't think we were going to come across, and it was 30-degree hot fucking heat in the middle of the day. I reckon it was the hottest day we had, and thought we were never going to get through that, but then we did. And all I had to do throughout that was just look at K by K, hour by hour, break it up, because when you look at the big picture, it can be so overwhelming. Never look at things, just break it up. It makes it so much more manageable. That's with everything in life. If you have a goal, work out the steps towards that goal. Still have that big picture, big goal, but break it down so it's more manageable and not overwhelming. Because when it becomes too overwhelming, then tendency as a human is to oh, too much.
What was the hardest part in that 160K run?
The hardest part in the 160K run,
because that's 22 hours of running. It's up there.
Yeah. Dude, I don't even know how to recollect what the hardest part was, but I can tell you things that helped me get through just the pain.
Was there a specific moment or a story in part of that when you were in that run, or you might have had multiple, when you were real just I need to summon something.
Yeah,
to get through this.
So I reckon it was 55K in. We were in Helensvale, and I just broke down, man. I just broke down in tears, and I had to stop for a few minutes, hands in the knees, just sulking. And I don't know what came over me. I don't know what it was, what triggered it. But when your body's being pushed to the absolute threshold and limits, and the mind, I just broke down and just had a little cry. And I was fuck, kick this off. Keep going. Just keep going. I'm somebody from a young age, I've always been taught never give up, never stop, I'm always determined. It comes back to the situation when I was skateboarding behind my mum. My mum was running when I was 5 years old. I fell down off the skateboard, and I still use this every single day. I come back to the same situation. It's hectic. I fell down. She came over and she said, "It's okay to fall down." She said, "But the most important thing is fall forward, keep moving forward."
Your mum's a stud, bro.
Bro, from 5 years old, I still use that. That skateboard scenario, situation. It's okay to fall down, but keep moving forward, get back up and keep going. And I take that everywhere in life. I tell everyone that story.
And now you're doing like multiple triathlons.
Yeah.
There's things with 2XU and stuff, like
2 times you.
2 times you. Yeah. Tell me, I've been calling it something wrong the whole time. It's been a brand.
That 2 times you. Now they were okay with it being 2XU when it was cool to like shorten things, but basically the thing is it's 2 times yourself. So human performance multiplied. Yeah. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So in terms of the triathlons, I'd love to hear about like that story and how that come about.
Yeah. So that was actually, so the Ironman, first of all, came about from an ex of mine. I used to.
So you did the whole Ironman?
Yes. Yeah. I've done a couple now. Yeah. Hectic. We'll get into that. But hectic. Yeah. No. So my ex and I, we used to compete competitively in CrossFit. And we always used to challenge each other. That's what I love about someone else is like push me, you know. I always say friends should have the qualities of support, inspire, challenge, motivate. They may not hold all 4. You may have someone who's just supports you, great. You may have someone who inspires you, you know.
But it's important to have people around you.
Yeah, a spectrum
that do
in your circle.
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you become the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. Say it all the time. Everyone says it. Choose wisely. Anyway, and she was like, "Oh, let's sign up for an Ironman." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." Like I said, one body, one life.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. Started training. Anyway, something happened. We broke up, and I kept training because I was like, "Fuck it, let's go."
Yeah.
Started doing it on my own. Got injured, and I was like, "Okay, need to put the ego aside and invest in a coach, someone who's a professional who knows what they're doing." Did that, did a couple of halves, and then did a full.
So just quickly for people, refresh my brain. How long is a full Ironman?
Okay, so we'll go half Ironman is 70.3, so it's a 1.9k swim, a 90k bike, and then a 21.1k run, and then a full Ironman is double that distance, which is 3.8k swim, 180k bike, and then 42.2k run. So full
and a marathon at the end of it, just to
push it in just a little bit further.
Just because you love the hurt.
But it's all about planning it all out so that you've got stuff left in the tank. Because if you blow up, fucking forget it. See you later. That's why the training is so important, and I love the training. I started to froth the training aspect of it more than just just doing the events, because it's the journey. That's where you grow. It's the training. The event's just like an accolade. Sick. Let's see what my training's capable. What I've been doing, and I love it more so for the mental aspect of it. Being on the bike for 6 hours or running out there. There's so many tests that come along and things that come up, emotions that you have to deal with. I'm the fittest I've ever been in my whole life, but I'm also mentally very, very strong and built so much resilience just from training that many hours, pushing your body to those limits. There's so many things that come up in your brain, day-to-day things that you have to deal with.
How does that, real quickly, just because I'd love to ask this question, we'll continue on here. How do you think that foundation of physical and mental toughness that you have from eating really healthy and putting into your training and everything else, refer to you and your business career and trying to kick ass and actually having a good balance of not burning yourself out when you're business, but you getting heaps of stuff done as well?
Yeah, dude, huge. Knowing that I'm actually able to focus, be dedicated, and push myself to that limit, and also incorporate rest and recovery and stuff, carry that forward into day-to-day life. I have the ability, and everyone does, to literally just knuckle down and go hard, the ability to hurt transfers over into business, because I'm not afraid to get hit. I'm not afraid to get injured or whatever, and that can be transferred into business. I'm able to take risks because
and get out of your comfort zone.
Get out of your comfort zone. I'm familiar with getting out of the comfort zone, and the more that you train or work outside of your comfort zone, the more your comfort zone keeps expanding and keeps changing, and then you can just keep reaching new levels, new heights. So looking back at the person I was before doing all this kind of training, totally different.
And how's that applied to you in the whole rest side of things as well within your business? Because you have to prioritize. You'd be like, okay, this is crazy. Take some time for myself, reflect, think, do some of this recharging stuff, get back into my business at peak level. Yeah. Does that relay as well?
I guess So you mean having rest?
Yeah, it's more I believe when you're focusing on your training, as you mentioned, you're getting in your mind, you're getting in your brain, you're having thoughts and ideas, and you have to consistently overcome yourself.
Yeah.
And what is really common, which I see a lot at the moment for people that I work with and stuff, is in their business, is that they're just doing they don't have that time to think. They don't have the time, or they're not getting in and doing really long runs and things, so they're not figuring things out, whether it is in their business or whatever. Then they just get caught up just doing stuff, and they don't get any big picture thinking, and they don't have the discipline or the grit to get out of being it's more comfortable them being stressful in their business than actually thinking about the big picture and working on their business. They're just too busy stuck in their business. And I think that you with all the stuff that you're doing and having all that time, you'd have some serious self-reflection, which would help you get outside of the box and will succeed with everything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that relate to you at all? Does that make sense?
Being able to. Yeah, dude, it totally makes sense. I'm able to have a perspective of. I don't know how to answer this question.
Nah, you're right.
What
are you thinking?
I'm just trying to understand the question. Maybe my brain is just moving.
Here, well, I got another question for you. So,
phrase it.
For people that are ready to they feel like their life, either they've started smashing business, they started to get some success, or let's just say in their life they're cool, I'm at this moment in my life right now when I want to start investing in myself. And for the events that you're doing, Ironmans and ultra marathons and stuff, it's from compared to the normal person, super extreme. It's super extreme. And that's giving you all these tools and resources that you use within your business, within your life, for self-satisfaction, for feeling fulfilled, for happiness. Even though that there are troughs, you have the ability to get in there and get out of them. So for people that are in a position where they're cool, I want to start investing in myself, what would you say to them? Where would they start? Where would they think? Where should they focus or prioritize?
First of all, figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's cliche, but when your why is strong enough and you have a purpose, you don't give yourself another option.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing this for? What do you want to get out of it? Not so much what do you want to get out of it, but does this make you feel good? When your why is strong enough, you don't give anything else a thought, because it's fuck yeah, let's do this. I want to, yeah.
How did you figure out your why?
Oh, man, again, this is going to sound so cliche, but...
Love a bit of cliche there sometimes. So
went to uni for 6 months after school, because that's the thing to do. Go to uni, get a job, get married, live in society, blah, 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 get, all that kind of stuff. No thanks. Fuck society's norms. Let's break the pattern. Let's go. Studied property development for 6 months because I wanted to make a lot of money. I had family and friends in that sort of world, and they were going to help me, this and that. Dude, studied for 6 months, and I was like, this is the most boring fucking thing ever. It sucked. It was so dry. No offense to anyone out there. Honestly, it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. It didn't light me up. I wasn't passionate about it. Do you know why? Because money was my motivation. When money is your motivation, forget it. Out the door. Money will come. All good. You have to love. You have to be so loving of what you do. You have to be so hyped hyped about it. And that's just what I carry through in life. You've got to be so jacked about what you're doing that you're not worried about anything else, because everything else comes. It's all energy. It's all vibration. It's this and that. Anyway, so left uni. It was like, hey, I'm going to take a break. Wanted to go overseas, and then went over, met up with a few people, started traveling with a few people, and then I was going to come back. It was only meant to be 3 months, and then I was like, no, fuck this. I'm going to defer for another 6 months. Started traveling on my own.
Did you get stuck in Berlin too?
I've been to Berlin.
That place, I got stuck there for a while.
Yeah. No, funnily enough, the second day that I got overseas, I got robbed and lost everything. Past Camden Markets in London. Camden Markets. Lost it all. And luckily, you know, the UK is very affiliated with Australia, and I was able to get a passport, you know, within 10 days. So kept traveling. So left all my friends one day when I was over there after I deferred, and then kept deferring and started traveling on my own because I really wanted to just experience. When you go away and you're with people, there's always, I want to do this, he wants to do that, she wants to do this. You can never really agree. And I was like, this sucks. Like, I want to be on my own, and like I love throwing myself out there. So I went to Africa. Yeah, fucking amazing. Taught English there in like a little country called Lesotho, which is in the middle of South Africa. That really like blew my mind. But back on, and that's when I decided to come back and start business. Anyway, back on where I found my why and my purpose. I was in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Did like a 3-day thing with all the camels, this and that, hiking, you know, sleeping in the desert. Amazing experience. Highly suggest it if anyone is when travel reopens again. Really eye-opening and very changing. But what happened was we were sleeping at the bottom of this like sand dune. It was 2 a.m. and I was like wide awake. I was so wired. At this time, dude, I was like a party animal, you know, alcohol, drugs, this and that. Yeah, loved it. Young,
Yeah,
you know. And I was like, I want to climb that sand dune behind us. Everyone else was sleeping because I'm wired. I'm like, fuck this. And I don't know if you've ever like walked in snow, if anyone's ever walked in snow or like sand, you're walking up, it's like 2 feet up, 3 feet back. You feel like you're just not getting anywhere. But I persisted, came back to the skateboard, keep moving. Persisted, kept climbing up this sand dune. And all of a sudden, like I felt like I was never going to get there. All of a sudden it just peaked over the edge and I'd reached the top. And I looked down and other people started to wake up and like look and started to come up. Anyway, I was able to sit there for like a good half an hour. That took 2 hours. It felt like 2 hours to get to the top. Sat there, literally all you could see was like sand dunes, like so quiet, so clear, and the wind just blowing off the top of the mountains.
wow.
And bro, it was that moment for me where I wanted to give up all the partying, this and that, and stop traveling, because I felt like I had a purpose greater of just existing, you know, going throughout life and just being here. My purpose was to give back and to help people. And from that point on, I made a point of like trying to help people and giving back, rather than just, I stopped drinking, stopped partying, this and that, kept traveling, kept experiencing, you know, and then made my way back. So that was where like I found my purpose for why I'm here.
Yeah, so like you made a promise to yourself.
Made a promise to myself. But literally I just had like a aha moment where I was like, fuck, there's so much more to life than just living for myself.
So like your why is like beyond yourself.
Beyond. And look, it's totally okay. Like for anyone listening, finding your why isn't easy. Some people go throughout their whole life and never find it.
Which is tough.
It's tough. Totally. But
sorry, continue.
for me, I never wanted to, and I never want to get to my rocking chair and live a lot and look back at my life and think, wow, I didn't didn't do anything that was worthwhile taking back. I didn't create any. I didn't,
Yeah, like all the stuff that you're doing now.
Yeah, but back to the whole purpose thing is the reason why, I didn't want to live a life just for everyone else. I wanted to live a life for myself. But, imagine going throughout life and doing things for everyone else, and living to society's norms and all those pressures and stuff. And then you get to the rocking chair and you've lived a life for all these other people but yourself, My purpose is to give back to people, and for me, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't even know if that makes sense.
No, it does, 100%. I get it. It's sort of like this is like an old school Friedrich Nietzsche quote. It's sort of like people start off. He believes it's like camels, where there's all of these beliefs and systems that everyone's put on their back, and it's like you don't start the maturing process until you go through the next stage of development, which is a lion, which is saying no to everything that society's put on you and choosing what you want to do. And like if we reflect onto you, it's like you choose, like, I want to give back, I want to help people, and you started up your business, you started being inspiring for doing all these things, which is just like wild, with 2 times you and these Ironmans and these ultra marathons and running all the time and being like super hyping and like inspiring, like it's awesome. And I was thinking of this question beforehand. I think this would be sick for everyone who's listening right now.
Hit me up.
If you were to challenge everyone who's listening right now, if you're like, all right, I've got something to challenge you like this week for you to just start doing, like from your perspective and like your journey, whatever you think has been like the best, what would you challenge or encourage people to do just to get out of their comfort zone a little bit?
To get literally, I'd challenge you to do something every single day that scares you. I still try and do it every single day, because that's where you grow and develop. Whatever it is, whatever you think about, whatever you'll have fear of, do that thing. Because you're not going to grow in your comfort zone. Whatever your comfort zone is for you, and you look outside of that and go, I could never do that, figure out a way, or just go and do that thing. Build like a little plan if it's something that's huge, but work at it, chip away at it. But step outside of that. Man, there's no point living life, personally, guys, inside of a zone that you're just not really progressing. In my personal opinion, we are here to develop and grow and test ourselves. You may be happy, in your 9-to-5 job, and that's great. But honestly, I feel like everybody is capable of more. You all have this potential. Look outside of your daily life and look at what scares you and go and do that thing. Go and do that one thing this week and watch. Go and call that person. Go and tell them how you feel, or apply for that job, or, take that risk. Your life will change. Quite often we build these things up in our head. We build up this thing. It's not even reality. And because we're scared, or even overthinking things as a human. I'm a human, I overthink things, but we build up this scenario, this situation in our head that gets all damaging. We've painted this picture, and in reality that's not even true. They don't even think that. They don't even care about this whole thing. We come into this world alone, we leave alone. My advice would be, work on yourself.
So what are some of the things that like you've done that you've sort of have like a little bit of, that you have had previously, a little bit of fear against, or whatever, that you've been like, cool, I'm going to challenge myself to get over this fear a little bit by doing this or doing that? What are some of those things?
Dude, I guess like I wouldn't necessarily put it down to one thing. It's a lot of things, but yeah. I would, sit with myself and sit with my own thoughts, which can definitely be a very hard thing to do. Yeah, we live in such a yang lifestyle where everything's, gratification, go, this and that, bang, 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 that, okay, hey, I'm saying I'm good, I'm saying I'm this, I'm saying I'm that. Let's just like fucking cut everything out, sit with ourselves and ask ourselves literally, how are we actually feeling? Because it can be distorted from all certain factors that impact that. But look, check in with how you're actually feeling. You know, you can be all this energetic, hyped. Well, that's why, like on Instagram and social media, I try and portray like really who I am, and that I am a human, that I have emotions. You know, I have anxiety, I get sad, I get angry, and that's totally normal, and it's totally okay, because you should allow yourself to feel these emotions, because you're human. It's normal. Don't shut that off, because if you bottle that up, it's only going to be more damaging down the future, you know, down the track. So try and get in touch. It's a very, very hard thing to do, and it's frightening. It's scary. I remember the first time I sat with myself, and my mind was going racing, and I had, you know, thoughts of insecurity, this and that. And even still, when I sit down, it still happens. Like, think about how many thoughts you have a day. Like, it's millions. Yeah. It's crazy. You have that as well. It's next level. The human brain, the human mind everything's so complex, and I never, you know, understand why things happen, but they just happen because that's the way they happen, and we don't even know what we're doing here. The fact is, dude, when you come to the understanding, guys, that nobody actually knows what they're doing here on planet Earth, we're literally all just working it out. It's amazing that planes don't fall out of the fucking sky.
Dude, I was in a plane literally 2 days ago, and I'm like, however many thousands of feet in the air right now, and this fucked.
How incredible is it that it's able to fly? When they first created planes, they were like, I'm not sure if this is going to work.
Dude, it's teleportation. I'm like, plane is a teleportation.
Legit.
You can't see.
That's
you just
right.
sit in this box, the next minute, different state. Like,
100%. But when you take that, they took the risk, they took the challenge, and they were like, fuck it, let's try it. And it worked. So whatever you're scared about most, just try it. You will surprise yourself what you're actually capable of if you just go outside that box. You're capable of so much more than what your life is right now. Expand your mind, expand everything. Try different things. You never know what, you know, you're gonna like and enjoy. And that comes back also to conversations with people.
difficult ones too.
Difficult ones. Have those difficult conversations, but also become a good listener. Listening is absolutely key. I say this now. It's like when there's a conversation going on and say it's my topic, like, fuck, I'm really well versed in this. I won't say anything. I'll sit back and observe and wait. And then I'll say something. The best thing to do is always listen, not get your 2 cents in this and that, because you'll always be that person. Just be humble as well, you know?
Yeah, I love that. A little bit of stillness and self-reflection there. Boom, can charge you up.
Self-reflection, absolutely key. Yeah. Check in with yourself. Do things that, you know, it's all about balance. I say this to a lot of people is you can go, but you've got to have some time for you.
Yeah, so true. Jans, you're an absolute stud. Before we end the podcast, thank you for being vulnerable and so motivating. But just real quickly, I'd love to quickly talk about some of the nutrition stuff.
Yeah, let's hit it.
Let's hit a bit of that. Just what are some key nuggets that you have learned through nutrition and stuff, which is helping people absorb, helping people get more energetic, focused, and productive in terms of like eating, combining foods. Just a couple of little quick tips that you think are just like fantastic for like the normal person probably may not know, or they need a little refresh on when they're like, oh damn, I should probably start doing this so I can feel better.
Yeah, cool. So I've got one little tip that I use with all of my clients, and it's so basic, it's so easy. A lot of people are low in iron. It's very common, especially in women. But the way that you can increase the absorption of that is pairing that with a source of vitamin C. So iron, let's just say things rich in iron, white beans, kale, dark leafy greens. Put a little bit of vitamin C, whether that's a squeeze of lemon juice or pair that with tomato, the iron absorption actually increases. That's why they say when boom, get it.
A little bit of capsicum, a little bit of chili.
Yeah. Eat a heck lot of like dark leafy greens, anything. Now this is really simple stuff, but
it's powerful. And we always forget.
Eat things that are really rich in color. When it has more color, there's more nutrients. So I would also focus on including a lot of dark leafy greens. So your kale, your chards, your silver beets, broccolini, really rich in chlorophyll, vitamin K2, K1. But yeah, including a source of vitamin C with that as well to increase the absorption of the iron. Berries are very underrated, but they are so high in antioxidants, which is very important for like the human bodily functions, being able to recover, muscle soreness. So your darker berries, your blackberries, your blueberries. So anything that's richer in color is generally better for you. So include a rainbow and a plethora of different foods. And again, surprise yourself. Try things that, are out of the ordinary, that from your daily, expose yourself to, different types of vegetables, different types of fruits, but include a lot more of them in your diet. Drink heaps of water. My one tip that I say is when you're eating food, just for proper digestion, try and not drink any water 20 minutes, like cut it out 20 minutes before, and then don't drink any water while you're eating, and then wait 20 minutes after, just so the body actually has the chance to digest the food rather than you guzzling water and washing down, the juices and stuff. It actually is working on what it needs to work on. I think of the body, like the body is actually very, very smart, the human body, but I also think of the body as and the digestive system, which is 9 times your body length, as a one-way highway. So when you're combining foods, let's just say, for example, and there is a little bit of research and studies behind this, which we can link in the show notes. But food combination of when you're let's just say you're having a banana. Let's just take the banana and put that on that one-way highway, which is your digestive tract, as the Ferrari, right? But before you've had that banana, you've had a piece of steak or potatoes. Low GI, whatever, the potatoes takes longer to digest, and then you've had that banana, but the potatoes have gone in onto the digestive tract, the one-way highway, and then you put a banana, which is the Ferrari, and the truck in front of it.
So it's going to catch up.
What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, the Ferrari's just going to smash into the truck of the potatoes.
Smash into it.
Yeah. Which
is, again, why you can be causing, some indigestion inside, bloating, gas, this and that. Another one is beans. If you're having beans, make sure they're well soaked, or try and get them organic. And if you get them tinned, if you're not cooking them from Whole Foods, tinned organic beans, just because they have to be FDA approved and go through the process for them to be on the shelf. Otherwise, make sure you soak them properly, just because otherwise they can create indigestion as well. What else? Eat your vegetables.
Eat your damn veggies.
Eat more variety of foods.
I think that's one thing as well, is when people, whenever they think there's going to be a bad food, I'm not sure I want to taste this. If it's bad and you don't like it, spit it out.
Oh, another thing with food that I always say is never look at food as a negative, say cake or chocolate or whatever. Don't look at that and feel guilty or be I shouldn't have eaten that. Your mind is listening. If you've created that, your mind is your second, it's connected to your gut. If you're eating that food thinking that it's bad for you and you shouldn't be eating it, or I'm going to get fat, this and that's going to change the way it digests. When I eat chocolate, when I eat cake, I'm not thinking of it as negatively. I'm this is amazing, I'm enjoying this. Because your brain is so powerful. If you're thinking of that as negative, it's going to digest and it's going to go to fat the way...
So how do you think about it?
I just enjoy it and I nourish it. I'm appreciative of the hands. I go next level and I'm fuck, this is grown from a seed. All of the work.
Oh, I love that.
All of the work that it's gone to grow, the hands, the people that have watered it, nurtured it, and fuck, I'm eating this right now. This has got some gold in here, man. Someone's nourished and made this grow from a seed.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. So, Jance, people who are listening, if they want to get more motivation, they want to learn more stuff, where can they best find you?
Find me on social media at PlantStrongJance, or hit me up Plants with Attitude. But if this comes out in the next 20 days, I'm launching a special Christmas ebook, so you'll be able to get that as well. Everyone's been hammering me for an ebook for ages. So yeah, that's coming out, and you'll have some great value in there of some tips and tricks and some of my favorite go-to recipes that you can try.
Oh man, I would love to chuck a link to that in the show notes for everyone who's listening, so they can be like, cool, if I eat this, I'm going to start running Ironman as well. Nah, man, dude, seriously, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom and being so inspiring. If you want to share something, again, just to leave everyone with, whether that may be something that you've already said or just some thought that you think could be really good for any of the listeners, just to pump them up for the day, what would it be?
I always love this question, and to leave everyone with the thoughts of have no fear. You're literally always capable of doing more than what you think. Go out there and just take advantage of the fact that you are alive right now. I take this back to Gary Vee, is you're literally 1 in 4 trillion chance of you to be born. There's more chances of you winning the lottery. Appreciate every single day that you're alive, that God allows you to wake up and move your able body, because some people are unable to, and be appreciative of that, and go out there and challenge yourself. You're never going to... Mistakes, I see them as opportunities to grow and develop. That's why we're here, to grow, develop, and learn. Keep learning things about yourself, and also be very wise about who you spend your time with, because you become the result of the 5 people that you hang around. So if you're not liking the way that you are right now, take a look at your close circle and see where it's coming from.
Well, man.
No change, no change. Don't be afraid to make change.
Oh, I like that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, man, I am very appreciative to have this podcast with you, and I hope that you get to be part of Circle. We can hang out some more.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.